Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'll be doing a tier maker, and in this tier maker I'll be ranking the AFL coaches. Now just a side note, unfortunately Justin Longmire, the coach for Fremantle in the 2020 season, isn't a part of this list, so I'll just be going off Ross Lyon, and also I don't think we've got well enough of a look at Justin to make a full decision. He's had two Marsh series games, so he doesn't have any experience under his belt. So without any further ado, into it we go. So in this tier maker we've got master, good, okay, bad and useless. I think that useless is a bit of a bad term for a lot of things, and I think for an AFL coach it definitely is. You know, they're trying their best, but we'll go from left to right. So we'll start with Simon Goodwin of the Melbourne Demons, and I have to say I think he's okay. I think what he did for the club in 2018 was amazing, taking them from zero to hero basically, or thereabouts, to real contender was amazing. And I think he showed that he could be a potential premiership winning coach. Obviously last year was a bit of a slip, or it was a very big slip, but I think that they'll be able to bounce back, and I think that last year they just got a little bit complacent, and he was out-coached in a lot of games compared to usual. Rhyce Shaw, I'm going to put him above Simon Goodwin in okay. He's very close to good. But also he's only had 12 games or something, maybe not even that. So I think that he's doing all right. You know, he had a very positive impact in the club when he took over from Brad Scott. I think that the players really started to play for him. They had a coach that they wanted to play for. They wanted to win for Rhyce Shaw, and I think that's really positive. As for what they do this year, I think they'd really have to make a jump up the ladder, push finals to move Rhyce up to good, but, we'll wait and see for that to happen. Ken Hinkley, this is a bit of an odd one. I'm going to put him better than Rhyce Shaw, but he's still in okay. He's doing alright. He's not good, but he's not bad. So I think okay is exactly where I'm going to put him. He had a good couple of runs. He took them to a prelim. He took them to a few finals series, but to really not cap off and to keep that consistence, a bit of a shame. I think that Port Adelaide definitely had the list, and or still maybe do have the list to push up the ladder. They need to make finals this year for him to A, keep his job, and B, be any form of good. So I think that putting him in okay for the moment is quite good. It's quite all right. Damien Hardwick, master. No more said about that. From where he took the club, he was just about out of a job. Took them to 2 premierships in 3 years, a prelim in the middle of those 2 premierships. He's got one of the best lists in the AFL, the best list in the AFL, and he knows how to use it. And that's amazing. To be able to do that is amazing. What he's done, the club wants to play for him. The fans want him to be the coach. They want to support him. And that's what you need in a football club. So I think he's doing really well. Will he top it off again and go back-to-back Tiggy time? I don't know. He's going to be very close. Whether West Coast do it, GWS maybe, the Western Bulldogs, they could jump up the ladder as well. So, St Kilda, maybe not. But he deserves his master status. Brett Ratten next. Where do I put him? Now, if I'm going on St Kilda coach, I have to put him in okay, because he hasn't had that much of a chance to really show yet. But if I'm putting him all time, I think I've got to put him in good, and I think that's what I'll do. So, obviously he had a great run with Carlton, took them to finals, however many years in a row it was. I think it was 4 or 5 years in a row. The 1 year he didn't make finals, he gets the sack. He did good things at Hawthorn in their sort of premiership run. And I think that St Kilda, new list, young club, new challenges. He's got the foundations to build something special and to really show where he's at. If he can turn chicken poop into chicken salad, like he's got with St Kilda, we're not chicken poop. We're more like a chicken Kiev. We're really nice, all right? But if he can make us from good to great, where he deserves to be in that good status. He deserves to be right at the top. He deserves to be knocking on the door of Damien Hardwick. So that's just my opinion anyway. Big Horse. Right, where am I going to put him? I think I'm going to have to put him just above old mate Brett Ratten. He's done quite well for the Swans. He's been consistent. He's won a premiership. He's been in a grand final. He's been in finals for most of the years since then. Obviously, this year he will bottom out. It'll really test him. But with a forward line such as Josh P. Kennedy, he's in the midfield. With a forward line such as Buddy Franklin and Tom Papley, you're never really in that much trouble. If your midfield and your very, very young defence can push and push and push and get it to one of those two, you're always in with a shot. So I'm going to put him in good. He's done some really good things, as I said, but I think this year will really challenge him. Right, Adam Simpson, Big Simo. He's very close to master, but I think he's in good. He's above John Longmire, if it'll let me. There we go. Grand finalists, premiership winner, prelim finalist, I think. Was he last year? I can't remember. I think he was. No, he wasn't. But, great list. He's done some good things. He's turned Optus Stadium into a fortress, which is amazing. He's got all the tools of the trade. He's been to the top of the mountain and he wants to stay there. And the players want to play for him. The supporters want to support him. He's very much like Damien Hardwick. If he can win another premiership, he's in master as well. Luke Beveridge, the $1 Million Man, goes into good. He goes into the top of good. Maybe on par with Adam Simpson, I think. Premiership win. Unfortunately, hasn't been back anywhere near the top of that mountain since that premiership. Obviously, they made finals last year, but, they left their run a bit too late and burnt themselves out. So I think he deserves to be in good. There's a lot of clubs that want him. There's a lot of clubs that, really need his services, and his coaching style could take a lot of clubs from good to great, as such as St Kilda and Melbourne and whatever. So, I think he's good in good. I think that's probably deserved. And, the Doggies are in for a good season this year, I think. Alistair Clarkson, master. Took them to a 3-peat. Much else needed, really. He's been dealing with a youngish list. They've both been really young and really old. Like, he hasn't found that middle ground yet with this current Hawthorn team, but I think he will. In time, I think that they have got a very good chance of making finals this year, and he'd be the man to do it. He out-coached GWS twice last year, just put on a masterclass. Put Leon Cameron back in his box, I guess. So, Alistair Clarkson deserves to be in the master. Don Pike, where do I want to put him? At the bottom of okay, I think. And I think that's where we'll leave him. He's not really much, is he? Credit to him, he come into the club at a really tough time. And he has been dealt bad enough hands, Obviously, the club was in a bit of turmoil due to Phil Walsh's passing when he come in. Paddy Dangerfield left. Rory Sloane was under a cloud. So he's done all right. But all right's not good enough for Adelaide. I think that they've got the potential with their midfield, the Crouch brothers. And that, they've got potential to jump up the ladder and make finals, but he just hasn't delivered that yet. I mean, you look at who else has left: Eddie Betts, Charlie Cameron, Josh Jenkins. I'm just trying to, there's not many people. Hugh Greenwood, he has been left in a bit of tatters, and unfortunately, it's pretty hard to recover, but he's going to have to find a way to do that if he wants to continue coaching in the future. Chris Fagan probably goes just above Brett Ratten. Just on last year alone, he's taken that list from somewhere down here to somewhere up here. What he's done for Brisbane is amazing. He coaches it like it's a business. He says, you've been traded to the club, but that does not mean that you're an automatic in. You have to work for it. Everything is based on effort. There's no givens at Brisbane, and I love it. He's got a young list. He's got a hungry list, and I think that if they can prove themselves and stay in the 8 this year, or even 9th, but they upset a few teams and have a positive win-loss record, he deserves to be there. You know, what he's doing for that club is amazing. All right, David Teague. Again, the Reece Shaw bracket, I'll put him under Reece Shaw. The Teague train is rolling in, and I think that he will be the coach to do some good things at Carlton. We never had the Bolton bus, and that's sort of something that I wanted to push with David Teague. I was thinking about it last night, is that the players and the supporters are getting around David Teague. We never had the Bolton bus. We never had the Bolton boat. We just had Brendan Bolton, and that was not good enough. Whereas Teague, the Carlton fans, they want him to win. The players want to play for him, and that's really, really important. He can build this list to something really special if he's given the right amount of time and the right list, and he's been given both of them. Patrick Cripps, right, he can carry that midfield. Harry Mackay, Jacob Wiedering, he's got the tools to build a really good mansion that is Carlton, and I think that he can do something really special before he is kicked out of his job. Nathan Buckley, I put him at the top of above Bevo, I think. He's done some really good things, probably very unlucky not to win a premiership. They probably had their best chance against the West Coast Eagles a couple of years ago. He'll get one for sure. He's got a really good list. He's got some good support. The players want to play for him. He's consistently got the double chance every year. He hasn't really missed out on the top 4 ever, I don't think. Maybe once or twice, but he's been really consistent. He's developing his young players really well. Jaden Stevenson, bar the whole betting scandal, Josh Dacos, he's really getting around his young players, and I really like to see it. All right, Woosha. I'll put him at the top of OK. I think that all of his West Coast, he sort of tarnished his legacy a little bit. He deserves to be in good, but what he's done since he's got to Essendon is a bit terrible. It's not great. I don't know what to say, really. He has deserved to get to finals. He's had the list that's been able to get there. He just hasn't been able to do it. He hasn't been able to... Obviously, they got there last year, but he just hasn't been able to put together a season that really makes you think that Essendon are a force to be reckoned with. And that's a bit of a shame. But I think that if he can put it together this year, it might be coming sooner rather than later. Right, Ross Lyon. Bad. There's my first bad entry. And it's unfortunate because Ross Lyon did a fair bit of good stuff for my football club, the St Kilda Saints, and he's done some alright things for Fremantle as well. He's got everything there. He had everything there. He had Fife, Mundy, bloody Walters. He had a premiership winning squad right there. St Kilda, the same thing. He just could not grab that brass ring or that premiership medal or that premiership cup. So I think he sort of threw his job away at the end. He was just making some poor decisions, players out of position a lot. So he belongs in bad, unfortunately. Chris Scott, top of good for mine. Won a premiership in his first year. Well done. Really well coached that year in 2011. He's had the preliminary final monkey on his back for the past few years, but I think that what he's been doing, he had a commanding position last year on the ladder. He just let it slip a little bit. But I think that he'll be all right come this year. Unfortunately, he will go through the bottom out period sooner rather than later. His club is not getting any younger. So I think that, we'll see Geelong slide down the ladder in the coming years. But I think he'll have one more premiership in him before his time's up. Leon Cameron, I put him in the bottom of good. I think I put him just below Brett Ratton. Club's only been around for 9 years, let's remember that. Or, is it 7 or 9? I think it might be... we'll go 8. It hasn't been around for very long. That's the moral of the story. And what he's done for that club, compared to Stuart Dew, or more, Guy McKenna, is amazing. He built it from the ground up. He didn't have one player to build his club around. He had a bunch of players. And took them to a grand final, although it was disappointing. He's taken them to preliminary final after preliminary final. They're winning games consistently. They deserve to be in the finals. He's shown that he's not a one-trick pony, and he's just bringing in new people to replace them. He's just bringing in fillers. He's just topping up the fuel in that Ferrari, and I think that that's why he belongs in good. You know, he's put together a very successful plan so far without winning a premiership. Stuart Dew, unfortunately goes not useless. He goes in bad, and that sucks because I like Stuart. But he has been dealt the worst possible hand in AFL history, all right? One, he was given the Gold Coast Suns. That's already a write-off, all right? Second, he come in the year that Gary Ablett was injured. The whole year, he was gone. Gary Ablett then left. Tom Lynch and Stephen May left the club soon after. He was left in tatters. So to have built that club from basically nothing and still have them 18th is probably a good thing. You know, he's been competitive in games. They beat the Doggies last year. They pushed St Kilda. They were very competitive against Collingwood, GWS, Carlton, Brisbane. You know, they were in games, a lot of games last year. It was just inexperience lost them the game at critical moments, and that's all right. You can accept and expect that with young teams, and that's all right. So I think that in time they will jump up the ladder, and I'm glad that he hasn't got major criticism like where's Stuart Dew's head. You know, I'm glad that they're not calling for that, because I think we all understand the sort of issues and troubles that he's had at Gold Coast, and I think that if you give him the time, he'll be able to produce something that jumps up the ladder really quickly, and I think that they'll scare a few teams in the 2020 season as well. So that's it. Let me know if you agree with my rankings down below in the comment section. If you're new, please like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you with another AFL video probably next week. So yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.